Hey.
You fine. Hello, welcome to Can Angels Fly. I'm Nancy, and this is my son Jacob. Welcome, Jacob.
Hello.
Okay. Today is March 11, 2018, and I just cut a video, and it was about the thing called the event. In that video, I made a statement, and the statement was that I have never had any spiritual being tell me their names. When I went to review my video after making it, the video was in play, and I was making that statement in the video, and he heard it, and he says, I have. So I want to interview him. This is just a rough draft. We're going to come back one day and we're going to really kick it. But I want to hear from my son Jacob and his experiences. We're going to talk about a couple of things, but I wanted to first talk about the two instances that he heard the name of an entity. So, Jake, can you tell me about the first, well, I'll do it like this. The first being name is...
The first one that I had, that's not the first time
but that we talked about thus far.
The one I told you first about?
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay, we recording. Say it, please.
Oh, okay. Well, when I was...
Just say it, who it is.
All right, I was about to tell my story, Ma, if you give me a chance.
Okay, tell.
So, when I was incarcerated, and I was so happened to be asleep at the time, and, well, I was having a dream, you know, like a paralysis type dream. You can't move, and it feel very realistic. I guess like REM sleep. And, well, I was inside of a room, and it was a baby cradle next to the, me, but, a little further away. And
can I stop you right now so that the viewer understands that this is his experience while he was incarcerated in jail, in case you don't know. And he was dreaming, and he was in a dream state, and he was suffering from paralysis.
It felt real.
Yeah, it felt real, but he was in a dream state, suffering from paralysis. He's in this room in his dream state. He looks over a distance away from him, and there's a cradle, a baby cradle. Go ahead.
So then I can't move, head stuck to the right, laying down. And of course, you always feel a shadow, but I didn't feel any type of weariness, I guess you could say, as far as, like harm coming to me or anything. But I see a shadow that was just up there, starting to get a little worried, like, all right, he's just staring down at me. And then I heard a little snake just start hissing up in my ear, like, sss. And I was like, what the heck, And then a baby started crying, coming from the cradle.
Mm-hmm.
And then and after that, it just said the name Icarus.
Icarus.
Yeah.
Was the first well, it's not the first entity, but it was the entity that he told me he knew the name of as a result of having that particular dream state experience. Right. And he even has a spelling for that name. When we do our official interview, we'll go into detail about this being. Now, Jacob, can you please share with me and my viewers the second experience that you had in which you were told the name of the entity that was engaging you?
All right, this one, I was also incarcerated. And, well, this one I don't really remember much of, because it was vivid, but it's was talking to me like it was like a demi type god, that's like a Greek god type, not like a almighty high type, but he was just like coaching me or whatever. And as he coached me, and then like visions was like flashing, and then like more and more I'm seeing success and everything, and then his name was like Azorus or something like that. I don't know what's up with the Us's, but well, I finally got to a state where I was feeling good up in my sleep, but I didn't know I was asleep. And then next thing you know, I woke up.
Did you put my dog outside?
No.
Sound like Scrappy outside.
Did Kim put her out there?
Go ask Kim.
Kimmy.
Hold on, we gotta take a break. I think they put my dog outside. Okay, well, let me highlight why Jake goes see my dog outside, because I just got so excited. Jacob is sharing with us 2 experiences that he has had that in which he got the name of the entity that he was engaged with. The first, well, both times he was incarcerated. The first time he was in a sleep state in which he was visited by an Icarus that had a hissing sound. So he just associated it with a snake. He never saw it. He saw mostly shadow. It hissed, and it said the name Icarus.
I believe that one was a woman.
And oh yeah, and he said he shared that it seemed the spirit, the essence of that being seems like it was female.
Yeah.
And now he is sharing with us his second story in which he was. Go ahead.
Which one? Come on.
The second one.
I just did that one.
Oh, well, with the demigod. Yeah. What's his name? Azarus. Yeah. A demigod that had him see life as being good, him being on top of the world. Yeah. And being gaining a sense of fame.
And it wasn't even that I was there at that moment. It's like it was giving me the vision, so like, coaching me, like, what I need to do. And why, it was like talking to me, but not talking to me. It is like it's words verbally, but I can just like feel the vibe from him. Like, and then, it's just like, visions was flashing. Like, the more that he went on, the more that, my vision kept on turning. And, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up having success in the end. And I was like, thought it was real for a minute. And then I woke up in jail.
Okay, that I like that.
I know.
Part, not that, but I'm talking about the part where you start talking about when the entity Azorus was speaking with you or communicating with you. You talk about his dialogue, but it's almost like you can't, as if he's talking, but you're not seeing a mouth move. But you're getting that information and then processing it.
Like if you see up in some type of weird alien movie, like they touch you and then you start seeing
telepathic.
Yeah, they start seeing your vision. You start seeing their vision, what they're trying to show you. Mm-hmm. That's how it's talking to me.
Now I'm gonna ask a question. Do you remember what year this was? Because you said you were incarcerated.
Yeah, 2016.
2016. Both of those experiences happened around that time.
Around kind of like after my birthday, around like January.
Oh yeah, 15th. And I'll share that with you as well, viewers. That he's a Capricorn, born January 3rd, 1990. So you are 28 years old. Okay. So in 2016, Jacob, my son, was incarcerated, and he had those experiences. And I want to say this, and this is my first interview, so y'all ride the wave with me. Is that when a person is incarcerated? From what I know and from my experiences is that it's kind of stressful. Yeah. And so that can bring things on. So I want to talk a little bit about your earlier years. Even things like that, I do believe.
I had better dreams than I had, more better dreams than I had, worse ones.
And when you were in jail?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had those dreams that kind of got you through as well, more positive. Okay. But let me be the devil's advocate and say, if you were in a stressful situation, stressful environment, stressful circumstance, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so you had those experiences, good and bad. I want to talk about your earlier years, because years ago, Jacob shared something with me. I'm going to ask him to share here. Yeah. I did do a video on it, and I made, it was about flat earth, round earth debate. And it was when you told me about being in outer space. This was before manifesting in this physical body as Jacob. Yeah. Can you share with my viewers what you remember experiencing?
Oh yeah. And by the way, I have a lot of these things. It ain't just one-time thing.
Right. That's why we're gonna have a few. We're gonna set up a whole outline.
This one is not a dream. It's more like an implanted memory inside of my skull, I guess you could say, or soul, whatever you want to call it.
So it's something that you remember, maybe a past life experience, a past.
Yeah, you know how you have what's that called when you deja vu?
Deja vu. Okay.
It's like that, and I had this numerous times while I'm woke, you know, and I might get a little, you know, dizzy or whatever. But it started out as me, I don't remember it all like from the beginning, but I know from, you know, saying where it starts off is, you know, I'm more like a baby inside of a like just, you know, I guess, you know, like a trance or something. And
a baby like, in a trance.
Yeah.
Okay, this is before coming to this physical realm.
Yeah, right. And it's like a whole bunch of links are like, you know, linked it to the world from like a lot of babies, and majority of them, you know, they don't move, they just float there, and well, they don't turn their heads, they're asleep. But in this instance, you know, the one that I keep on having deja vu of is that I wake up and I turn my head, and then I see all the stuff that's going on. I see the stars, I see the world, which is round, and you know, and I see the babies, and I see the links coming from like our umbilical cords linked to the actual earth.
To the earth. That's interesting. Now, I don't remember him sharing that part. I want to highlight that because that's amazing. Y'all can tell I'm hyped.
I'm giving details.
Okay, yeah, in detail. Now, what he just shared, I hope you can hear it clearly because we're sitting a distance away from the camera and mic, but that he remembers being in like outer space. He sees the stars. He gets to actually look around this time. He gets to see the stars. He sees the earth that he says is round in this experience. Now, this is the experience he's having a recall of. And he also sees there is an umbilical cord from every baby out there in space that is attached to Earth. Interesting. Go ahead.
The thing is, and what I have noticed was that it's only like, you know, it's not a lot of them, but it's a lot of them, you know, that it's linked to the world. Because as, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm constantly seeing, you know, flashes of light, which you can, you know, kind of feel like I said, it's more like a vibe thing. You know how communication work other than verbally, and they're shooting out of the earth, and you know, when they like going far out, just
like spirits.
Yeah,
spirits leaving the earth.
Yeah,
like babies preparing to come into the earth with umbilical cords connected to it, and there's our lights coming out of the earth.
Yeah, the ones that's coming out of the earth, that's flying out. Those are the ones that's like going beyond. They're going somewhere else, you know, or I'm not sure where they're going. I guess you call it heaven. I don't know what that is. But the ones that is linked to the earth don't never leave. They're constantly, you know, what I remember as, because like I said, it was deja vu. And it constantly being reborn. And then I die. And then be reborn, then I'll be
okay, let me ask you a question. I want to make sure that I'm understanding you as well as the viewer. You are one of those babies in space with the umbilical cord directly linked to Earth. Correct? Yeah. And those particular babies never leave Earth.
No.
They keep recycling back into Earth, dying, going back into that embryonic state, and going back.
Yep. And then I guess the lucky ones, you can call them.
The lucky ones get to shoot out.
They shoot out of space and go wherever they're going. And we constantly gotta die over and over.
And okay, now this is gonna bring tears to my eyes because, like I said, my son is 28 years old, and he would share as he was growing up. But I couldn't believe, I wasn't really into this. I was living and learning. So as he's sharing these things, I'm like, yeah, okay, go over there, clean up, sit down, whatever. Turn the lights off. We gonna go to the turn the lights off. He ain't got much time. This my son. He just had a new baby, Faith. So yeah, so he is geeked up and got to get back to her. Yeah. So that's why I'm talking so fast. Now, when you say you're that baby with the umbilical cord directly connected to Earth, you are a part of a tribe of babies that are born into the Earth. Live out whatever life experience you're going to have.
I think.
Wait a minute, span. You die that life, go back into the embryonic state to go again. Right. Now, you were also, tell me about that, because you said you remember coming down here, dying, and going back in that state. Please tell, the viewers a little something about that experience. I know I just said it, but tell it in your own words.
Like, you ever had dreams of you being someone else in first person, and
looking through their eyes.
Looking through their eyes. Well, not that I don't get a feeling of it. It's like kind of a no. Is that I'm on them people, because when I have deja vu of those, experiences, I actually feel them, like getting shot in the head, or
do you recall ever getting shot in the head before?
Yeah.
And see, this is what I didn't want to say it, but I wanted him to say it, and he did. That he remembers the onset of his death, whatever the cause is, like being shot in the head. And I bring that up before I go. Do you remember any other death events that occurred?
Yeah. This one was, I was trying to get someone to the hospital, and I was like a Hispanic descent, a family.
I've been Hispanic before.
We're inside of a van, and some people that was chasing us, and then we crashed. They lined us up, and we up in another country, and one by one we all
executed.
Yeah, but they thought I was dead, and then
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, and well, they end up driving off, and then me thinking I'm scot free. They double back around. They just took me out.
That's deep, and it brings tears to my eyes once again, because I grew up hearing these stories since he was a little baby, and I didn't know about all of this. I had to come to even understand my own past lives. But I bring it up because, let me tell you a little history about my son, is that when he was little, I could not get this young man to go to sleep. He was up all night. He didn't want the lights off. He never said he was scared of the dark, but he did not want the lights off. He didn't want to go to sleep. And then my mom died when he was 9 years old. And he told me one time he was scared to die. And I'm looking like, I didn't even have a concept of death at that time. Huh?
Who isn't?
Right. But I wasn't. Because when he was 9, I did not personally have the concept of death. I didn't even know I was going to die. I did, but when I got old, old people die. You live out your life, you die, you get wore out. I did not have the concept of death at all. So when he was 9 and told me that he was afraid to die of death, I'm looking like, what is you talking about? Go clean up, go do something, go play with your toys, go play your game. I could not relate. So he has spent his whole life dealing with the fears of death. And I bring that up because if he recalls his past life experiences and the death events associated with the ending or termination of those lives, he has brought that remembrance into this life that has haunted him since he was a child. And that's so interesting to me. Oh, okay, it was something else. I know you got to go. Go ahead and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Because I'm upset, y'all.
I wanted to go talk to my daughter, but she's asleep.
She's asleep. Yeah.
And I got quite a few of them.
Well, tell us something else.
Well,
anything that you want to share.
Well, I was this one we was living on 16th, not 16th, my bad, Lawton.
In the hood.
Yeah, in the hood. Oh no, not Lawton. It was Yep, Lawton. It was Lawton. And I was I was tired, just got done gaming and everything. And I was about to go to bed, but some had came out of nowhere. Y'all should watch out for this entity, whatever it is.
Okay, he's saying, I want y'all to make sure y'all can hear. He's sharing a story. I don't know what he's going to share, but he's saying that this entity, watch out for it. So go ahead.
All right, this entity, just like I was talking about how they talk like more telepathically and by vibes, and you can feel them like...
That's what I've been trying to share here. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
What they're coming from. You know what I'm saying? You can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's evil or bad or it's good. That's why I wasn't so worried about those two. I was like, oh, well,
because you can feel it.
Yeah, and I felt
you
them.
Feel their intent or where they come from.
Yeah, I'd have felt them before. So, this one, in this case, I just laid down up in bed, not sleep at all. This one was strong very strong. And because I usually have him like when I'm up in REM sleep or something like that. But he, well, I'm getting all snuggled and stuff up in my bed, like, ooh, yeah, it's feeling good.
It's feeling good.
I have to go to sleep. Then next thing you know, I just feel something standing over me. And I'm like, my body just like feel petrified. You know, like stuck, like, you know.
Struck with fear.
Struck with fear in the frozen. I'm in a frozen state. Like,
but you're wide awake. Just getting in bed.
I'm wide awake. And, you know, I'm like, you know, his vibe was so terrible. Like, it was like he could just snatch my soul out of me. Like, just whenever he felt like it. Just like, you know what I'm saying, like this, and then I'm gone.
Give it to me, nigga.
Yeah. And so he is saying, I can make life better for you. And I was like, you know, but he wasn't talking verbally, you know.
Telepathically, again. Yeah. It's that energetic, I call it energetic message.
Yeah, and then, like, the room, you know what I'm saying, it had pretty much good lighting, you know, like, a little light over here, you know, but it's dark over where he was standing at. And he was like, only thing you have to do is say yes. And I'm like, say yes. And
did you say yes?
Huh?
Did you say yes?
No, I ain't say nothing yet. I was still scared.
Okay.
I was still scared, and then after that, he was like just like standing over me and stuff. I'm scared. He looking down at me like, I can take you right now if I want to, and then I'm just like, all right, I get up.
You get up out the bed.
Yup. And then I like look towards.
Put your feet on the floor, all the way up. Okay.
And I looked towards him, and then I ran. And I ran into the room with my little sisters, Lily, Ruby, and Pearl, and Michael, and I was crying. And I
really?
And I woke them up.
Question: how old were you then?
I was like, I had just got back from
Philadelphia.
So I was like 16.
About 16 years old. That's interesting.
It
seemed like I even remember you saying something about somebody being in your room. Again, I wasn't listening. See, co-parenting. I apologize to you too, because I didn't know how deep this stuff was. I'm dealing with my own thing. But what I want to bring up, and finally I'm gonna let you go on to your baby, is that you also shared with me in the last few years that you remember a dark place. The scariest place you've ever seen. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, it ain't it's not like how the Bible or everywhere else.
Make sure turn. It's not like the Bible.
Yeah, it's not like the Bible or everybody else make it as far as like hell. I didn't necessarily. This one I feel like, you know what I'm saying, it was hell. You know, it was constant, and well,
it was constant.
Yeah,
I like constant. That word. Yeah, because that's what it was constant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so when this happened, I thought I was just in a like little, you know, falling dream where you feel like you're falling forever, like if you fall off steps and you just
free fall. Okay, stop. When did this take place? When? Like, has it been in this lifetime?
Yeah.
It has been in this lifetime. So
that I had this.
Yeah, this experience.
Yeah.
So this was something that you experienced in a dream state?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
But like I said, once again, it felt real, and like, you know, like I don't really get scared over dreams because I know what they are, or nightmares. I know what they are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm. The battles in the mind.
Yeah, battle of the mind. Mm-hmm. And so, but you know what I'm saying, a lot of them, you know what I'm saying, you have to be like, no. But while I'm falling, I'm not falling off of anything. I'm just falling. And then the more that I'm falling, the more that I feel this evil, distorted presence, and it's like eating my soul up. It's just munching on it. The more further I go down to the point that I wish that I just die and it just won't
stop. So it just
stop. You know what I'm saying? So it won't happen no more. And then, you know, I feel the presence at the, you know, it's not a bottom, but at the bottom. And it's like the closer I get, it's you get more petrified. And you know what I'm saying? To the point like you're stricken with fear. And you're stricken with, you know what I'm saying? From the fear, turning from fear to pain. And from the pain.
There's so much fear to it becomes pain.
Yeah.
To what?
It's so much fear that it becomes to pain, to the point that, you know, you start to feel like physical pain.
That's some fucked up shit. Excuse my language. But could you imagine being so fearful that it ends up transforming into pain? That's some deep stuff. Okay, and so
then I finally start to get closer. Then I start to see like a face, like I'm going into the mouth of, you know what I'm saying, like a dark shadow, but you like all right, this is time, you know what I'm saying, I'm finally about to die. But then you don't. Nah, you just keep on, and it's like it's a renewed. It's like
Continuous.
it's renewed. It's continuous. It don't stop. Like you would think, like, okay, after a long time, you can get a hold of it and be like, all right, now I'm good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's just constant.
That makes sense to me. It's just constant. Because so you hit this plateau of fear that's turned to pain. Right there is where you stuck.
Yeah, it's like it shakes the mess out of your soul constantly, and it's like your soul gets stabbed, burned, shot, everything
all at once.
Yeah.
So tell me, all that you shared with me, a little bit I know about personally, a little bit, like talking with dark entities. So I know what you're talking about with any entities. Yeah. I understand what you're talking about. The fear of death, I understand that. This video started because you did have names, but we've gone so much deeper, and you will be a guest again. Thank you. But tell me, I mean, because that's something deep to live with in this physical realm. How are you capable of dealing with it? Do you think that...
I drink.
You drink? Okay. So we can't let the devil get you there. But can you overcome it, or is that those experiences realer than this experience for you?
And the time those experiences are happening it's realer than this one.
It's realer than this one. Yeah, that's interesting.
But when you snap out of it and then you back up and everything, you feel like you're safe.
But your nerves still fried. I'm sure.
Nerves are very fried.
Nerves still fried, right. So, it's something else I wanted to share about your story, and it's, dang, what is it? My memory so bad. That, as I shared, Jacob is a Capricorn, but his ascent is Aries. And before I got really into this and interpret parts of his chart, I used to tell him, because he's surrounded by women. You got 4 sisters, a mom, you know, dad distant, but he's surrounded by women everywhere he goes. And even when he was,
my wife,
and now his wife, and then he got a baby girl. But it's always been this issue, even when we were young. I'm tired of being around girls. Always girls. Girls. I mean, just with something, it was a pet peeve of his. Now I think you come to see that you can't get away from that. You know, being around women being around you. Yeah, no, but what I bring that up is because with his Aries ascent, when I was reading his chart, it almost seems like he's a guardian of some type. And so now, long before, again, I interpret the stars, I say, Jake, it's like so many women around you. It's like you a guardian or something. And then when I learned to read the birth chart, it really seemed like he was a guardian. And I bring that up because when he talks about being that baby in outer space and having the umbilical cord constantly, having to live over and over and over again. Right, dying and getting murdered and go back and start again.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Therefore, not a person, but an entity to come to me saying I can make it better.
He can make it that. Oh, I didn't get that. But yeah,
I
now
never put those together.
Now think about it. Oh, y'all, just a few more minutes, because what we just came up with when I was talking about him being directly connected to this earth and having to continue to recycle in and out of it, and remember the life and the death and the dying process. He's been executed, shot in the head, all these things he can remember. And somewhat since he says that the entity came to him and said, which one it was? Ezra's.
That's none of them.
It wasn't them. It wasn't this one.
This one didn't have no name.
This one didn't have no name.
Dark.
Oh, that dark one in the corner.
You know,
in the shadow. He was in the shadow.
He was right next to me.
He's right next to you. The one, where you got up and ran to you. Okay, that's the entity that told him he could make it better. he can make all that change. So what was he talking about at the time? You didn't know what he was talking about. But now, through this discussion and this interview, you realize he was saying, I can take this pain away that you've been suffering for who knows how long, millenniums maybe?
Right, because I was in the army in the past, all types of stuff.
I mean, he's been in the army before, and he died doing that. And he's saying, hey, only thing you got to do is say yes. Yeah. You say, all he says, you got to do is say yes, and you just stood up and ran.
Heck yeah, I mean, that could be the devil, can't it?
Right.
Or whatever they put it as.
Right.
And he was scary.
He was scary, so you already know not to go with that one.
Right.
He can't make it better.
Heck you know.
And so what
I had the same fear that I had when I was falling.
Fuck him. Excuse my language, y'all.
That's why I said stay away.
Right. You try to stay away. But what I'm seeing is, Jake, that putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, we're going to really have to go through this. We're going to close this video down, but what I'm saying, and final, now that you've made that connection, bridge that, and the understanding that you are some type of warrior or defender of some type, and you keep recycling. It's like you have a contract with this earth to do certain works. You live the life out. You die. Unfortunately, you remember the situations, and you constantly have flashbacks.
Yeah, I just can't remember it all.
You just can't remember the whole story in whole, but you constantly have flashbacks that are manifesting here in this life, you know, and the whole point is you had an offer to make it stop.
Yeah.
But you refused. But you refused because you could identify that entity that came to say, just say yes and I'll make it stop, is the same entity that has to do with that fallen space where it was dark and you hit that plateau of fear to it turn to physical pain, and you were stuck there, and it was unending, it was continuous, you say.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the purpose. It's the purpose that you keep recycling in and out. It's a purpose that you said no and took off running. It is because you have taken an oath for something. That's what we must discover. Well, did you take an oath for the ultimate divine to come here to be a dark lord, a dark warrior? You know what I'm saying? You could play that all in. You know, dark warrior. And to defend something, to fight for something, for the history of humanity. You know what I'm saying? And you dealing with a lot of trauma. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you still stay faithful to your oath. That's my nigga. I'm going to let y'all go. Thank you, Jay, for coming here to Can Angels Fly. Thank you for sharing. You can go back to your baby now. Bye. We're going to come back on that because that was deep. Where my click at? Here go my click.